Hello, I am Adalberto Cervantes Rodriguez. I am the creator of the ERP and the business database technology that is used worldwide, run by SAP and Oracle. Those companies install my technology and partners. A lot of small companies of Indian origin in the United States and almost all the clients, they are doing a lot of accounting and fiscal fraud using my technology after replacing the US science and technology than we have 20 years ago. So we are using a black box with secret knowledge. As I told you before, the data and the processes are incorrect, and basically it's because they were not using industrial engineering or science and technology. At the end of the day, all the presidents, including Obama, the CEOs, are taking wrong decisions, and they are considered worldwide by the people as satanic, diabolic, criminals, psychopaths, even homosexual because of the reptile implants that they are used by the elites to control the presidents and the topest positions at corporates and government. Today we are going to talk about the Dr. Malo, who used to be a subdirector in the Mexican Petroleum Institute, related with the stolen of patents. I think that in the Mexican Petroleum Institute, even can be in other parts, I'm not so sure about, because he was working also in the Secretary of Education in Mexico. And the situation is like this. I mean, Dr. Malo, I don't know if other subdirectors used to work in the what is called the investigation of basic sciences, and I used to work in that subdirection. So what I noticed is that Dr. Malo used to force the investigators to put his name in the resource papers. At that time there was a magazine at the Mexican Petroleum Institute, very recognized worldwide. As I told you before, the Mexican Petroleum Institute received investigators of Los Alamos, NASA, and other important resource centers worldwide. Most of these guys, they were coming with resource paper, and they want to make sure that their investigations were okay according with science and technology. The only way is to go to the highest resource centers worldwide, in which areas you can explain your resource, read your resource paper, and give you feedbacks about the resource. So basically, most of these investigators, they were coming to the Mexican Petroleum Institute, and specifically one of the important areas was the subdirection of investigations of basic sciences. Okay, so I was there, but I was doing in those years my thesis. I used to work in another area with Armando Comadurán. Then at the end, he was killed with his driver when they were implementing the Oracle in Pemex. So as you can see, Mexican Petroleum Institute and Pemex, they have all the vendors that you can imagine, and nobody was given the solution that they were expecting about the business database. At that time they didn't know what was it, but what's the business database? That was my ERP technology. So no vendor in the world because Pemex and Mexican Petroleum Institute have all the vendors that you can imagine, trying to sell their solutions. We have the biggest systems, legal systems in those years, and we start using, as I said before, the PCs. Then in those years, my boss considered that it was important to get involved with these PCs, with at that time with the DOS operating system, to start working to create the RP technology. So I did my thesis, and I presented to Dr. Malo, and after I tried to get into the institution in Mexico related with investigators, Mexican investigators. So I applied to the Mexican Petroleum Institute. One of my bosses said that my thesis was no science. so he was a chemist, so you can imagine. And I didn't say nothing. What I tried to say what I want to is to check all the possibilities of my thesis, and review again, and it helped me a lot to create my PhD thesis that need considering the law systems, besides the accounting and industrial engineering and all the social sciences and all the engineering sciences, plus physics, chemistry, and math. So I have all the experience, but I need to check with different private companies it was correct. So I have been doing that job for 20 years to check that my thesis was really okay to put in practice, and it helped me a lot because at this time I have a criminal suit against SAP and Oracle, who took my technology in Pemex, and against all the people related with these stealings. I have, of course, Juan Prado and others of the Mexican finance secret societies, okay. But Dr. Malo has this situation at the Mexican Petroleum Institute, and of course, knowing what he did with the investigators to play his name in this resource paper, and I think that the same happens with the patents, okay. So it's really a big business for these guys. And I think that all the technology go abroad, because Peña Nieto said some months ago that Mexico was not intending in any case to keep the whatever technology. They just want to buy it outside, okay, abroad. So that's ridiculous. I mean, well, that's a underdeveloped. That's an idea from an underdeveloped country, okay. Like Mexico, but United States is different. I mean, if you see my studies and my experience, most of the experience is related with the United States science and technology, and I used to work with that. But I only combine it with the thesis at the PIXA, with thesis coming from England with Dr. Eduardo Oliva, Birmingham, also for Arturo Pacheco Espejel coming from the Soviet Union at the time, and also with my professor who was a chief of the graduate studies in my master's in industrial engineering. So I combine all these situations. Mainly there were the key points, but I have others, and I did my thesis. I check in the Mexican Petroleum Institute. Of course, they know everything related with Pemex, and they took my thesis. Okay, they took my thesis. They didn't tell me. Ingeniero Armando Comadura tried to tell me something, but he didn't say anything. And after one of my bosses working as well in UPIXA as a professor told me that my thesis was fantastic, that everybody was talking about that, but yeah. He didn't tell me that they use my thesis in creating this software of Oracle and after to SAP, because they may making money. I don't know how much, but of course they're making huge amount of money. I think that the main Illuminatis in the area of stealing the patents. But it was fine. At that time, I didn't think that they tried to kill me or something like that. But they start working with the implants. I don't know if nanotechnology. I don't know if MK Ultra. But of course, the implants. I have maybe at that time some of them. I didn't know. Nobody knows about that technology. It has been disclosed in about 2 years ago. So these guys they started me attacking me since then, since the creation of my thesis. And Dr. Malo was a key part of that because he was well known as someone who tried to put his name in the research papers of others when he was not an investigator. He was not in a chemical lab. I never saw him. Okay. And at that time I was working with a simulator in BAX. So I have a lot of experience in the mathematical approach that you need to have in processes, a chemical plant. So I have that kind of experience, and right now I don't like that this situation is happening in a Mexican institution so important like the Mexican Petroleum Institute. And as my graduate studies at UPIXA, they try to disappear and not to have any fingerprints related with the stealing of my technology. So they almost disappear the graduate department at UPIXA, at the National Polytechnic Institute, and I think that the same case is happening with the Mexican Petroleum Institute because of all these situations. So that's really bad, and it's part of my criminal suit in Mexico and United States. I hope that these Jews are not going to hide all these situations like they are doing right now. Okay, so this program is related with explaining that this stealing of technology by the Illuminati is really bad, and nobody knows that they were killing the guys who even they have the patent. Can you imagine if you don't have the patent, what's going on? They are stealing the technology in real time. It is analyzed by these secret societies, and after they give the technology to one of the Illuminati corporates. It's incredible how they are working, and it's unfair because the case of Tesla and others that we don't know. And Tesla used to work for them. Can you imagine other guys? Okay. In my case, I couldn't be part of the Illuminati because first purpose of my technology, according with my boss Armando Comaduran, was to try to find out and discover and put in jail these guys that were stealing the oil and other resources for the Mexican Petroleum Institute and Pemex, the Mexican oil company. So I couldn't be a part. Even they invited me several times, but I didn't accept. Okay, because you have objectives in your life. I mean, okay. So thank you very much for listening me. I hope that you like these programs. God bless you.